had returned home from college one weekend, expecting to go to a Friday night country and western dance at one of the local dance halls, and I was waiting for some friends to come and pick me up, and we had this Westinghouse television. I think it was like my father bought it right after he got back from World War II, and it was one of the first TVs in our little area, from what I'm told, and we only got 3 channels. We had an antenna sticking up outside, and attached to the house, and sometimes you'd have to go out and turn it around and get this channel or that channel, and we got 4, 5, and 12. And I was looking at 4, no, 5, no. And then I was on my way to 12. And as I passed channel 9, it came in like clear as a bell. I mean, channel 9 never came in because that was Austin. That was a kind of a combined channel between Austin and San Antonio. And it was KLRN, and it was the educational TV. But that night, it not only came in, but what I saw was the insignia of the Boston Symphony. And there was this real golden tone voice. This is the Boston Symphony Orchestra, performing at the Tanglewood Music Center. Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky's Symphony No. 5, conducted by Leonard Bernstein in the Serge Koussevitzky Memorial Concert. And I'm thinking, this guy's speaking Russian. I didn't know what was going on. It was like all these words I'd never heard. Serge Koussevitzky, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. And so I thought, I'm going to watch this. And I started watching it, and it's just the Fifth Symphony. And, there comes this man out to the podium, and Leonard Bernstein, and he was so debonair. And he looked like he was like a John Wayne, like 10 feet tall, with his hair poofed up in the way. And he comes and he starts conducting the Fifth Symphony, and beginning with these 2 clarinets and these strings, and I thought, wow, I'd never seen someone conduct music like that before. That was interesting. That was like, so that's conducting as opposed to directing, And I kept watching, and the movement got into the allegro, and it got more and more frothed with energy. And the Boston Symphony, man, I'd never heard of the Boston Symphony. I'd never heard of Tanglewood, never heard of Koussevitzky. I'd never heard a symphony by Tchaikovsky. So all these new things were just like popping out of this black and white TV. And I became like the moth, to the light. I just was mesmerized. And I hear this honking in the outside, and the pickup truck is trying to get me to come on. And I just yelled out, you got to go on without me. I got to stay here. And I stayed and watched. And then it gets to this place just before the Coda, and Bernstein is just like so into it, and then he cuts the orchestra off, and I thought, oh God, man, that was a great symphony. And then there's this Coda, da-da-dee-da-do-da. I thought, oh my God, there's more. Because I'd never heard the symphony. Well, needless to say, I was weakened by this experience. I was both moved, touched, weakened with emotion. I was angered because no one had ever let me in on the fact that this existed. And so let's fast forward, a number of years, and there's Carl, who had become the assistant conductor of the Boston Symphony. And in the summer of 1990, I was on tour with the Vancouver Symphony for a while, and I came to Tanglewood just a little late, and it was about the time where Mr. Bernstein was to arrive and to conduct, and he was going to do the Serge Koussevitzky, the 50th anniversary of this Serge Koussevitzky Memorial Concert. It was going to be around not exactly his birthday, it was August 25th. It's around his birthday, August 19th. So I'm always covering. When Mr. Bernstein was there, I was always the one covering for him. And I didn't and couldn't have ever predicted that my chapter with the Boston Symphony and with Leonard Bernstein was yet to be actually completed. There was this extraordinary moment that was going to be the coda of that relationship, and it was going to be conducting the world premiere of his last work on that concert that afternoon and in the shed at Tanglewood on what ended up being the last concert of his life. And now that was the knot upon the knot.